Hello YouTube and welcome back to the channel. And today we got an interesting video where I have Duncan from YourKey Property Management. And Duncan is a expertise in Airbnbs here in Calgary. So what I thought it would be really cool to bring him onto the channel and just have a conversation about Airbnbs in Calgary, what they do, and just kind of bring some awareness to what that looks like. So Duncan, man, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, no worries, man. So, why don't you tell the people, like what you do? I mean, obviously you're a property manager. You look at Airbnbs, but who is Duncan? What is your key?
Yeah, so my name's Duncan Hall. Your key is really a combination of myself and my wife, Beth Haldane. We're the two people that really oversee the company. And yes, we are a short-term rental management company specializing in rentals of, say, less than 30 days on average. That's typically what we're looking at. You're right. A lot of people have said, this business is extremely passive. Put 1 hour towards a week and you can, have all the riches in the world. I think that is extremely misleading.
Yeah.
Maybe, in some rare instances, but for us, we take quite a different approach. We're much more hands-on in the business, and we take a much more, I say, a lot more care into the property. We're at the property more than an hour a week, just in that alone. But for us, the way we approach the management of a property is really looking at it as its own business, right? So we're looking at a profit and loss, and we're happen to have a property that we're managing. But for us, it's really about looking at the expenses that are going into the business, trying to maximize revenue, and you have a very good control of both of those inputs. So really, you have an opportunity to, decrease your expenses, increase your revenue, therefore maximizing your profit margin. Whereas with traditional long-term rentals, that is somewhat outside of your control, right? I
Mm.
think for us, we take that more into control. The things that we do, we're looking at how do we expand the life cycle of that asset to be much longer. So you're not repainting, you're not, refurnishing the place. We're trying to push that timeline as long as possible while maximizing our rental rates. So
Mhm.
I think when we're looking at that from so what does that mean to the everyday person who's looking at this? Really, for us, occupancy isn't about going to 100%. Anyone can be occupied 100% of the time if you decrease your rates enough. But then you're having more people through your property, more wear and tear, more cost, more potential for nuisance. Everything is increased. Your risk is increased significantly. So for us, it's about optimization of your occupancy versus your rental rate.
Wow. No, so that's actually very interesting because I would imagine a lot of people think 100%, we want zero vacancy, but you're also, your argument in a way is that the more wear and tear that you put on the property, yeah, you might make a little bit of extra dollars, but at the end of the day, those dollars will go right back into the renovation and kind of fixing up that property.
Exactly. So for me, I always say if I can have as few people through the property and make as much money as we can, that's really the goal in a
Wow.
nutshell. But
Hmm.
for us, again, if we are 100% occupied but making well above market rates, then the juice is worth the squeeze. So there constantly is that assessment that you're utilizing. So it
Hmm.
really isn't just post property, post some rental rates and let it set and forget. Yeah, there's technology that we use. Yes, we use pricing algorithms and are constantly fine tuning that to make sure we are reaching the highest rental rates possible for our clients. There's
Hmm.
a lot more that goes into that. So I think that is, really at a high level, that's in essence our approach.
I love it, man. I've got so many questions. So,
Yeah.
you do like a full financial report, right? It's an analysis. You sit down with the client, you talk about some of the seasonal adjustments that they might see, and start going over all of these things. Now, without getting too much into it, because we do plan on doing a series in this matter. But what does that kind of look like, right? When it comes to like maybe someone coming to you and saying, "Hey, I'm looking at this property." What would you kind of advise, or how do you kind of view that?
Yeah, so a lot of the time people come to me and say, Duncan, I want a property. I want to make as much money as possible. And they don't give me many other parameters. Well, let's think about there's many things that do go into the sourcing of a high quality short-term rental property, many different factors. What we do is we discuss what those factors are. I won't go into too many details now. I'm sure we'll discuss that in the next video, but we'll go into those factors with individuals. We'll give them some strategies to consider based on what their purchase price or budget is, because some people do have a budget to consider, and just because you spend more doesn't mean you make more. There's a lot of, again, we go into all of those factors from purchase price into unique selling features, etc. We dive into that with folks, but then we overlay that with our internal data that we have. We've hosted over 12,000 nights in the past year alone, so we're able to look at data that is, you can put your hand on, you can look at and say, I can trust this because that's real data. Whereas a lot of people will look at websites such as airdna.co, the largest data provider of short-term rentals in the world. Yes, that is always going to be a data point. That is something that we'll look at from, like you said, a seasonality perspective. Let's see where we're seeing some of these trends. Obviously, the winter being slower in demand, therefore rental rates do fluctuate lower, whereas summertime or the warmer the weather, well, the rates go up just as much. So that's in essence the Calgary market. We'll put that all together into a financial analysis, break it down month by month, so our clients can look at it and say, great, here's what I expect in, say, January, February, some low months, or July and August, right? And you're riding the wave. You're up and down, but we average that out and say, in the long term, because this is a long-term play. If you're in here for, get quick or a couple months here and there, that doesn't fit our business model. Maybe it works for some folks, but again, the amount that we put into the business, really looking at that from a 1, 3, 5 year outlook, trying to make sure that this property is going to be competitive with the amount of influx of short-term rentals that we're seeing in the market.
So one of your value adds that I really like and I thought was very interesting is that you don't outsource a lot. You do a lot of stuff in-house, which I love. You've created the systems and you've built the team around you. You do the cleaning services. I think that you said that you do some of the consumables. Do you mind just touching on that a little bit? Because I think that's huge, because it's like a one-stop shop. Everything's in-house and you don't need to worry about those third parties maybe dropping the ball.
Exactly. For us, when we and it is a journey. So for us, we did start, and you take the typical, you outsource your cleaning, and it's hands off and it's more passive. Yes, that is one benefit, but the drawback of that, especially when you're scaling a business from 1, 3, 5 units, you need more reliability in terms of them actually being able to accommodate all of your cleans, because you could have many in a day, but then also the quality. Right. So what we see is that you can incentivize, if you try to incentivize the subcontractor with more money, they just end up taking the same amount of time doing the same quality. They're just getting paid more because they're not aligned to essentially the vision of what you're trying to accomplish. We found typically is trying to do the minimum you need to not get in trouble. That will bypass the guest standards, right? But for us, we have much different standards. We're trying to go for perfection every single clean. We're trying to increase our cleaning rating across our entire portfolio. So we started to take that in-house. We now in-house all of our cleaning services. So we have a team of about 12 people that manage that. We have our office location now, work vehicles. It has taken on a life of its own. But from what we're seeing internally into our data, our cleaning ratings are increasing. So we're accomplishing what we wanted to do. But like you said, we have complete control over that. So now for us, reliability is outside of the question, because we take that and we always were accountable end to end, but now we're taking out a little bit more risk from that process. Adding more cost to our business and our backside, but we're really able to provide a much better service to our clients.
That's fantastic, man. And I think this is actually such a good, a good business model, right? At the end of the day. And it does really testify to, the services that you do provide. So how can people get in contact with you? I mean, you've got a website. If people have questions, where can they go to reach Duncan?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple different ways you can reach me. Obviously, our website, YourKey.ca, is a great way to reach me. Fill out the form. It will go directly to Beth and myself. You can also call us 1-833-RENT-YYC. I thought that was, that has
good
actually
been
a great source. And most people will Google us, and then we're typically one of the first companies that do show up. So, but if anyone does need to email me directly, you can reach me directly at Duncan@YourKey.ca.
Right on, man. Well, I thank you so much for coming on the channel. I think that there's a lot of value here. For the viewers out there, make sure to subscribe to the channel because we are going to go into a little bit of a video series and talk about some of the pros and cons, the seasonalities, and some of the profit margins, if you would, for different short-term rentals here in Calgary, thanks to Duncan. So if you have anything else to say, Duncan, now is the time.
No, hey, tune into the next video and we'll take it from there.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much once again. And thank you for the viewers for sticking it through. Until next time, peace.